Listen to this ignoramus Sean Fraser, trying to explain that there is no mandatory minimum penalty for criminals. As if his own Liberal Party didn't remove mandatory minimum penalties back in 2022. Now they're scrambling, although in no urgent manner, to bring them back after crime has skyrocketed. New Liberal motto: commit a crime, don't do the time.
How does it still count as a mandatory minimum sentence if the judge has some discretion?
So this is important. What we've seen in the decisions that the Supreme Court has made that have struck down routinely each of the mandatory minimums is that there was no provision to recognize that there may be circumstances where the penalty would be grossly disproportionate, frankly, which in my view tend to exist when you're dealing with a set of facts that are probably outside of what an ordinary person would contemplate, given the nature of the crime that was the subject of the initial offence. The reality today is if you have a mandatory minimum on paper that has been struck down in some provinces or that will be struck down, is that you don't have a minimum penalty at all. So I would suggest that the existence of a penalty on paper that is not actually practiced in the system is not a real law people can rely upon, and it offers no value to people who are going through the criminal justice process. The court has directed in its decisions, or identified rather, potential solutions that could overcome the constitutional hurdle that they've identified. We've chosen to move forward accepting the court's identified solutions of creating some residual discretion, but only in those limited circumstances where the penalty would be grossly disproportionate to the facts on the ground. One thing that gave me comfort moving forward with this process is that we've seen Conservative members of Parliament implore members of all parties, including their own party, to adopt this kind of a solution. We've seen members of the Bloc Québécois advocate for this kind of a solution to restore mandatory minimums with some residual discretion of the court in those more extreme circumstances. So what we've done in the vast majority of circumstances is restore that mandatory minimum with some limited discretion that would allow the constitutionality of these provisions to survive their next challenge.